What is good? What is up? It's Jordan or Texans Thoughts, and I'm back with another Texans film breakdown. I got a really fun one for y'all today. We're going to be comparing the Rams 2018 offense to the Texans 2020 offense. James, or I Am Young Ari Gold, as you may know him, he brought up the idea that our offense is sort of built to replicate and expand on the great 2018 Rams offense that was borderline unstoppable, and I definitely see it too. Both teams have talented depth at wide receiver. Both teams have an elite deep threat in Brandon Cooks, and we've got another in Will Fuller. Both teams have an underrated wide receiver too in Robert Woods and Kenny Stills. We've both got a great slot wide receiver in Cooper Kupp and Randall Cobb. Also, both strong O-lines led by lockdown left tackles in Andrew Whitworth and Laramie Tunsil. Both teams also have former star running backs who are dual threats and thrive on running outside zone. The main difference between the two offenses is one team was led by Jared Goff and the other team is led by Deshaun freaking Watson. And that difference in quarterback play could make our offense way more productive than the Rams. But not only do we have similar types of players, but the scheme is actually fairly similar as well. And that's what I'm going to be showing in this video, and really just what our offense could look like in the next season. So if you enjoyed the breakdown, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Now, let's break down the film between the Rams versus the Texans offenses, because the film don't lie. So even with the high-flying 2018 Rams offense, everything was predicated off the running game. Gurley ran for 1,200 yards and 4.9 yards per carry and averaged a good 18 attempts a game. They loved to run outside zone, and their O-line was dominant in blocking for it. Gurley was great at reading it as well, and David Johnson thrives on outside zone as well. So while we've been primarily an inside zone running team, I would love to see us go outside zone more and play to our running back's strengths. We know that Bill O'Brien loves to run the ball, and I don't expect him to get away from that anytime soon, but that's okay as long as we run a lot of play action off of it. In Deshaun's rookie season, we were super effective with the play action game, and so was the 2018 Rams offense. They got linebackers sucked into the box, selling out to stop Gurley, and that left holes in the defense. On this play, you can see how all the linebackers get dragged towards the line of scrimmage on the fake, and then Brandon Cooks has this huge hole to go to work. The Rams love to attack the middle of the field and make things easy for Goff, and the Texans are trying to do the same thing for Watson. He thrives over the middle of the field, and you can see that when we have an effective running game that defenses have to respect it, and that opens up things over the middle of the field. While Watson can make tight window throws, if he doesn't have to, why force him to? You just want to make things as easy as possible on him, and that's how you're going to get a productive but also efficient offense. The Rams love to take their deep shots off play action, very much like the Kubiak system that we're so accustomed to, and the Texans do the same thing and always run their patented Yankee concept. So here's how it works. We'll go under center, play action fake, max protect, and only send out 2 routes. They'll go on 2 deep crossing routes, and it forces the safety to make a decision on who to guard. This is very tough when you have a deep threat like Will Fuller and you have someone who's going to draw the attention of a defense like Nuke Hopkins. And now that we have 2 deep threats with Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks, I just don't know how you're going to guard this. And the Rams ran their own version of this, but they added a twist. Defenses can key in on the deep crossing routes and guard them if they know when it's coming. So you gotta switch it up every once in a while. And so instead of running deep crossers, the 2 wide receivers going out on routes will fake inside and then go outside instead. So they show the exact same look as the Yankee concept, under center, play action fake, max protect, but then they try and get the defense to bite, thinking that the deep crosser is coming when they're really both running pseudo corner routes instead. And so this is a great adjustment that Sean McVay and the Rams make, because you can't be predictable nowadays in the NFL. Everyone has each other team's film, and if I can figure out when the Texans are running Yankee concept, you bet your ass defensive coordinators are going to know well in advance. And here's the beauty of the Texans offense. Every route is an option route. So while the Rams had to draw up a specific play call for their counter to Yankee, the Texans have that counter built in on every single play. This one starts off looking just like Yankee concept, and that's because it is. Play action fake, max protect, only 2 routes. But Fuller has the option to turn this deep crosser into a corner whenever he wants. He's always reading the leverage of the cornerback and the safety throughout the route. If the cornerback is behind him, then of course he's just going to keep running and abuse his speed on the deep crosser. But if the cornerback knows that Yankee is coming and he's going to try and jump the crossing route like on this play, Fuller has the freedom to turn it into a corner and burn him. That's why this offense has these crazy days, these crazy outputs where they look unstoppable. It's those days that Watson and all the wide receivers are on the same page and see the same thing, and when that happens, good luck in stopping them. The Rams are great at attacking all parts of the field, and even off play action, they'll attack underneath and take what's given to them. Here, just finding Cooper Kupp for a free 9 yards because the run fake in the opposite direction gets him that step on the defense. And the Texans like to run that concept in their RPO game, but they did it for Kenny as well. He's in that same tight split that Kupp was in, and boom, that's just free yardage because you gotta respect the run. And when Deshaun was a rookie, particularly in preseason, they ran tons of bootlegs for him to get easy yards. I hate that they went away from it because there's nothing wrong with easy yards. The Rams do it and it's very effective. They're running a levels concept here, and it goes back to them attacking all parts of the field. Now, just imagine how the Texans would run this with our personnel. You could have Akins as the tight end laking out of the backfield. Instead of Kupp, we've got Cobb. Then on the outside, we've got Fuller and Cooks, or we can even put Stills in there. And this play design really just makes the quarterback's job easy because he's only got to make a half field read, and because no one's going to the right side of the field, and levels the concept forces the defense to leave someone open. The Pats are in cover 3, and this really puts stress on the crow flat defender. He's got to deal with the slot and the tight end, forcing him into a conflict of assignment. He chooses Kupp because he's the guy running the slightly deeper route, and then the tight end is just wide open, and with Akins being the guy to get the ball here, he's gonna kill it on Yak. So we talked about play action, let's look at what each player does well and how those similarities will translate. So obviously we know Cooks is gonna cook deep. That take the top off ability is really why we brought him in, and I can't stress enough how important it is that we have 2 elite deep threats now, so that if /1 Fuller goes down, the offense shouldn't miss a beat, as Cooks fills in for his role. But Cooks isn't just a deep threat, he's also a great route runner and electric with the ball in his hands. That added yak ability is something that the offense has lacked forever, and will make our offense more dynamic. The craziest similarity to me though is between Robert Woods and Kenny Stills. They are almost the exact same player. Great speed, great route runners. Kenny's better there, but they're both versatile, can pick up yak, and they're both absolutely kill it on post routes. They just know how to win with inside leverage and get open on these routes. What I really love though is how smart they each are. You need smart wide receivers in the Bill O'Brien offense, and you need smart wide receivers in the Sean McVay offense. I mentioned option routes before, and you can see on this next play how Woods has a post curl option depending on how the safety and linebackers play this. So he gets by the linebackers, and instead of continuing to run the post, he stops it off short and turns it into that post curl. So why did he do this? Well, it's because he didn't want to take a risk, and he was worried about the safety over the top right here. If he kept running and Goff let him downfield, the safety would have had a chance to break it up. And while the safety isn't in amazing position, he's in super close, but Goff doesn't have the greatest arm, and the ball would take a minute to get there, giving the safety a chance to make a play. So Woods knew that, and he just doesn't want to risk it, and instead just takes the guaranteed yards, and that's a super smart play out of him. And Kenny Stills has the same ability to read defenses really well. He's a smart dude, and that comes in handy for these offenses to be at their highest potential. So he's running a post route here, but then notices the linebacker has got really good depth on his drop. If he had more shallow depth, then Stills could continue running the post over top, and Watson could just bomb it over their heads. But because he's in good position to cut that off, Stills doesn't want to take the risk, similarly to Woods not wanting to take the risk with the safety. And so like on both times, they run the post curl option instead, take the safe route, the route that you know you're going to guarantee yards, and I love that. Goff also feasted off of easy throws over the middle of the field to none other than Cooper Kupp. If you took away the deep weapons in Cooks and Woods, he just wins underneath with little help from the defense. Kupp can obviously play that role as well, being someone who can kill it on easy slant routes over the middle of the field that Watson thrives on throwing. However, when Kupp was healthy, the dynamic slot wide receiver took their offense to new heights because if you play him too tight, he's got enough speed to burn you over top as well. And I was honestly a little skeptical of Cobb being the same, but the film showed tons of times where he was winning deep with ease. The man had a career high 15.1 yards per reception, and he still got plenty of juice left in the tank. So I'm really excited to see us integrate Cobb into the system because he's another versatile piece. Not versatile in where you line him up, but versatile in how he can attack defenses. I keep harping on attacking all levels of the defense because that's something that we sucked at last year. It felt like we would either attack deep when Fuller was healthy, or it would be the short, quick game when Fuller was injured. And that difference in offenses literally went from top 5 to bottom 5, and it was awful. But with the depth we've got at wide receiver, that shouldn't have to be the case. We're a legit 4 deep with smart veteran wideouts. And if you take away all of those guys, then we've still got David Johnson and Duke Johnson out of the backfield to feast. And David Johnson in particular, his crazy receiving production with the Cardinals was in huge part to them scheming him open. Defenses would take away Larry Fitz and co, leaving Johnson wide open underneath a bunch. And I mentioned that Gurley is a dual threat as well. He ate in the exact same way for the Rams. Look how he gets open here. The Chargers are in cover 3, and the safety in the curl flat zone, he's going to follow Robert Woods up the seam a bit because he's so worried about him. And what that does is it opens things up for Gurley, who now has no one in the flat guarding him. So if there's one concern I have for the offense, it's how we're going to score on the goal line. Our best plan of attack has always just been to ask Hopkins to run a slant, and Watson would find him for 6 really easily. But without him, someone else needs to step up. And the Rams showed a good way to score on the goal line, even though they have smaller, less physical wide receivers just like us. So first, they're going to motion Gurley across the formation, and since no one follows him, they know that they have a zone look from the defense. And it's tough to play zone on the goal line because you've got so many holes that it's very easy for a quick wide receiver to find one, turn around, and score just like here. And so using motion, which both teams love to do, to check the defense is going to be pivotal, and running these short stick routes are key because depending on if it's man or zone, you have a different task. You can see that here when we ran a similar concept, we motion Nuke across, and it's a soft follow. It's not really a full man follow. No one's actually going all the way across the formation for him. And so Watson and the weapons read zone. Then Fells right here, he's Watson's first read, and he's got the stick route. So if it's man, you run an in or an out depending on the leverage of the defense or the play call. But if it's zone, then you just simply find the hole, sit in it, and turn around. And Watson reads the same thing that Fells does. The ball is out quickly, and it can just be that easy. Now the last thing I want to talk about is the difference in quarterback play, and I could go on and on all day about what Watson does better than Goff, but the main thing for me is dealing with pressure. That was Goff's biggest issue and still is. When things were schemed up and easy for him, yeah, he can execute and just steer the ship, but the moment something went wrong and he had pressure in his face, it's poor throw after poor throw, poor decision after poor decision, and he just doesn't have the mobility to make off-script passes, and he loses his cool when there's defenders near him. His footwork goes to trash, and he misses basic throws. And that ability or lack thereof is really why Goff will never be an elite quarterback until he can fix it. He's someone who can put up real numbers when everything is going well, but as we know, Watson will put up numbers when the shit hits the fan and he has to make something out of nothing. Now there's a million plays I could show you to illustrate this ability, but I don't really want to make an hour-long video. But we know best as Texans fans that Watson is a killer, and honestly at his best when there's chaos and he's got to make something work outside of the pocket. You just ain't sacking this dude, it ain't happening, and he's never frazzled by the moment like Goff is. So with him leading the offense, we could honestly see the similar philosophies and concepts that the 2018 Rams ran, but just elevated all around by Watson. Alright, that'll do it for my 2018 Rams versus 2020 Texans offensive comparison. I think it's clear to see that personnel and scheme-wise, the two offenses are very similar. We would have flashes of that 2018 Rams offense in the past, but could never do it consistently because of the lack of personnel. However, Bill O'Brien has handled that part, and we could see similar or even better production from the Texans this year, large in part due to Deshaun freaking Watson. This model of offense where you spread the ball around without a true wide receiver one and just find the open man is one that Watson can thrive in, and it's honestly much harder to game plan against. I just really want to see this offense in action already, man. So if you enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. We've also got a great website and podcast with tons more Texans content for y'all, and all those will be linked in the description. Please do check us out. Alright, this was Jordan or Texans Thoughts. Hope you enjoyed and come back for more. Take care everyone, and remember, the film don't lie.